You may have seen that I have done 2 videos on Anubis already, and I still haven't gotten around to setting it up until now. So if you now go to my website, and I will do this in an incognito browser tab, you will see Anubis running. So if I go to this, you see this making sure you're not a bot page, and the website is reloading, and there you have it. If you're not a bot, that is. So, and I have in my Git, on my Git site, I have this Restyle Anubis project, and I've done 2 videos about that, where I have Restyle Anubis to use the style and the images that I wanted to have, and not the default ones. So, and of course, in this video, I want to show you how to set up Anubis. So this is the purpose of this video. And I will set it up on Alpine using openrc, of course, and the packages I provide. So if you go here and here, I have this releases/builds directory, and I will use these tar.gzips. Oh, well, one of them. Alright, let's just get into it. So I have my Alpine box here, and oh yeah, here I have the log. And I will get into, in a second, how I set this up to actually display so I just set debug, the log level to debug, but I'll show you in a second. And then also show you how it looks. Alright, whatever. So let's just get in here. So again, I have this Anubis directory in my, well, I just logged in as root, and I have this Anubis directory. I downloaded the star.gzip out of my releases/builds web directory. So this one right here. So this is the paper one, and I have unpacked it, of course. And if I look into this, we will of course see the normal Anubis like directory. And I have copied the Anubis binary here. I mean, this is really unnecessary, but yeah, it doesn't really matter, as you'll see in a second. And the way I have done this is I have, and if you have seen my videos on like Maddie and I think Git daemon it is, you might have noticed kind of approach from me. So what I often do is I just check, like, if there's not a stable package for Alpine, I will check I'll go on Alpine Linux, what is it? alpinelinux.org, and I will go to the, what is this, packages site, and then I'll just look at the Edge package, because for a lot of packages there aren't packages for stable but for Edge, and as is also the case with Anubis, if I can spell that. Alright, so, and then I just look at their Git repository and look what they do, and I've already pulled this up here. So this is the Git repository. They have an APK build. This is really uninteresting because we have already built Anubis, so I've already built it right here. Modified, of course, and then they have 2 files, anubis.confd and anubis.initd, and these are for the confd and initd directories respectively. And I have just copied these. So if I go into initd/anubis, and these are modified, and I'll show you in a second what I did. But these first few lines are the same. The command, I just kind of, I didn't bother putting the Anubis binary in like an actual directory, like user bin or something. I just did it like that. I will probably change that. I have also added the Anubis user, and I have done this the same way as with Maddie. I don't know why they did it for Maddie, but not for Anubis. Yeah, I don't know. So I've added an Anubis group, and I've added an Anubis user with the Anubis group. So yeah, pretty straightforward, and I've just added these here to run the Anubis service as the Anubis user. Then I've added a logs directory and have, yeah, set that here, and also this logs directory belongs to this Anubis user. So pretty straightforward stuff. And if I go to the confd, here we will find not so straightforward stuff, because this is not like openrc standard stuff, but this is like Anubis specific now. And this is just an env file, and I had a bit of trouble setting it up actually, because I didn't really get it. But these are just environmental variables which get set here and which get exported. So I mean, it's kind of straightforward once you kind of get the hang of it. And they have a conf file as well. Where is it? Yeah, this one right here. And I have copied it and adjusted it and added a few things. One thing I added is the, as I said in the beginning, the debug level, which you do with log level equals debug. I don't know why log level, but that's just how it is, and policy fname. And these I got now from the actual Anubis wiki. And because they have this native install site in the docs, and they give you an example for a Git environment. I mean, this is not Git specific. I don't know why they did it like that. And they have all this stuff inside here. So I copied the policy fname, and yeah, I've added the slog. It's somewhere in here. Where is it? Here in settings. They have a listing of all the environmental variables that Anubis respects, and in here is the log level somewhere. Yeah, here. And I've set it to debug to see all the requests, evaluations, and detailed diagnostic information. Great. So that's that. And also something you have to do is you have to copy a policies file to the etc Anubis directory. Oh, well, not the etc Anubis directory. You can copy it anywhere, but etc Anubis is kind of, default. And I've done that and specified this file in this policy fname environmental variable. One important thing that kind of tripped me up, and I don't know if it didn't work because of this or because I did something else wrong. Anyways, in this example, they don't export any of these variables, and in the Alpine example, so in the Alpine package on Edge, they use export here, and I think you need this export. I may be wrong about that, but I just put it in. So it works with that. Great. So I've copied this file and this policy file, and this file you can find in this tar.gzip. If you look at Anubis, so this is the untarred and ungzipped version, and if you look into docs, you will find this default policy.yaml file. And if I open that up, so like that, they have a bunch of default stuff here. And yeah, I mean, you can go through this. This is now the actual, like, what Anubis will do. So for example, it won't block search engine crawlers, for example. And it has I don't know why this is in here. It requires a subscription to Thought. I don't know how to pronounce that. To use. I don't know why that's in here, because by default you don't have a description and a subscription to that, of course. So I just commented it out. Alright, and I commented something else out because, where is it? Comment. Yeah, I commented this out because, and also this line right here. So this. Because by default, you wouldn't even see a Anubis page. So if I put that in here, again, it will just allow normal browsers to go through. So, because it kind of weighs all requests and it gives them a score. And if the score is under 0, under 0. So if it is smaller than 0, it will just allow it through without any page, without any challenge, with nothing. And if you do this, I mean, most traffic will just go through because most traffic is legitimate. Well, not most traffic is legitimate. It really depends on what you're doing, of course. But in my case, if I just call my page through a Chromium browser, it will just let it through. At least on the tests I did. So I just kind of commented out to have something to show and to actually check if it's working. And you can kind of go through this and you can see, okay, so there are different challenges. So for example, for this mild suspicion, kind of, how you could call it, mild suspicion weight range, which is between 0 and 10. And this is now the default weight range because I've commented the greater 0 thing out. So everything that's under 10 will get this challenge. And the challenge, so action challenge, and up here is action allow. And here we have action challenge, and then we have this meta refresh. And this is pretty simple because, so I don't know, I haven't read this docs page, but what I can tell, there's a HTML meta tag and it just tells the browser, okay, refresh this page. And if the browser does that, well, then it's probably legitimate, because if you use something like curl or some scraping website most of the time it doesn't read meta tags and refreshes the page or something. So that's a bit more intelligent. So then we have some moderate suspicion between 10 and 20, and it has some other challenge, and this is now proof of work, but a easy proof of work. Then we have a mild proof of work, and then we have a hard proof of work, I guess. Or some other. So again, you can go through this and kind of adjust it to your needs. And up here, so this was the actual challenge part. And up here, there is like more configuration for actually weighing the, so this was the, when you, I should have done this the other way around, but this was when you already have the weight of the request. And this is here how to actually calculate that weight. So for example, Chrome should behave like Chrome. And if Chrome behaves like Chrome and has, for example, this user agent, so if it has this user agent and has these headers, then we weigh it with -5. So -5 gets added to the weight. Or if we have a upgrade insecure connection, insecure request header that is typically sent by all browsers, we weigh it with another -2. And so on and so forth. I mean, you can go through this, you can add your own stuff. For example, they also have here something more interesting. So system load based checks. If the system is under high load, add weight. So you can not only base it on the request that's coming in, but also on the load of the system, for example. Again, here's some GeoIP based filtering that requires a subscription to something. I commented that out. And yeah, and these things, these imports are in the binary itself. So these are not, as far as I can tell, these are not files that are on disk, so on my server, but these are embedded in the binary. But you can also copy these to disk, like adjust them, and then import them from disk. For example, I think they say up here, so import path can be prefixed with data. So this is, I think, embedded in the binary. This is what this means. Or of course, from some relative or absolute file path, in your file system. Yeah. So yeah, you can look through these if you're interested, of course, and adjust these to your needs. All right. So that's that. So now we set up a Anubis and the RC service thing is running. So if we do RC service Anubis status, it's fine. And we can now do start, stop, all the normal things. And now what you're still asking yourself probably is, okay, cool, but how do I do this with my website? Like, how can I connect this to my web page? Because Anubis by itself doesn't do anything. It has to be in front of something, in front of a web page. And especially, how do we do this with a static site? Because I don't know why, but the Anubis docs is kind of weird in this regard. First of all, I don't really see through these document, like the like hierarchy is kind of strange, to be honest. I can never find anything in here. So, okay, configuration, no, I think we need environment, and then we have, yeah, so they have different examples for Apache, Cloudflare, Docker Compose. Why would you ever use Docker with a, like, static binary? I don't understand that. I mean, isn't this the reason why you do static binaries in the first place? Okay, so they have, but they have something for Nginx and so on and so forth, and they also have something for Caddy. And for Caddy, it's kind of, I don't know, I mean, they give a Docker example, and some Caddy configuration, and I've copied that, of course, in my own configuration. So let me pull that up. Right here, I have copied it, and I have put my normal website behind, like I have used this block for my normal website. So this will now reverse proxy Anubis and add these headers to it, so Anubis can get the real IP and the real HTTP version or whatever. And what I've then done is, and I've still these comments in, I don't know why, I should probably remove these for clarity's sake. And now what I've done, I've put my actual website. So this is the block that was, and this is why I have this comment in here. Before it was looking like this. So without all the stuff at the top, only like this. And now I have put that on a local port and have then, so this is on port 9101. And if I look back into the Caddy configuration, Anubis configuration, which is not in here, but in the confd, Anubis, you will see that I export target, and here I export HTTP localhost 9101. So this target is the port of the service I want to put Anubis in front of. And I don't know why. I mean, this is super simple, it seems to me. And I mean, it works, so I think it's fine. I hope. But they don't really give a great example for using Caddy with this. I think somewhere they even say you need like 2 instances of Caddy or something, which is kind of strange. Yeah, I don't. Oh yeah, here down here it says set up 2-tier routing setup where TLS termination is done with 1 instance of Caddy and the actual routing to services is done with another instance of Caddy. I don't understand that, to be honest. Maybe someone big brain can explain that to me why I'm doing it wrong. But I mean, it works TM, you know? And I'm not setting up another instance of KDE. I mean, that's just kind of, I don't know, why would I do that? And I thought about doing it with like some lightweight HTTP daemon, but yeah, I thought I'd just do it with KDE. I mean, it's fine. And yeah, that's pretty much it. So I have this reverse proxy block for my website, which just serves Anubis, and then the request goes to Anubis. And if Anubis says, okay, fine, you can go through, the request will go to localhost 9101, which is again served by KDE and which handles my website. So I think it's all fine and good. I hope so, at least. Maybe not. And I haven't like extensively tested this. I just set this up and I wanted to share with you my setup. All right, so now you might think, okay, great, but how can I protect, like I have multiple services on my server, how can I protect all of them? And the reason you would do this in this setup I have showed you here is just copy the init file, like just create a new init file for Anubis. Just copy this to like anubis dot, I don't know, some service you're hosting or some page or whatever. And then you have a second openrc service. You can create a second confd with like anubis dot, I don't know what's a good service to host. Maybe you have an extra Git site or something and you want to protect it like even more, so nothing can enter it with like harder challenges and whatnot. So you could create anubis.git. I don't know if openrc respects the dot. Maybe you need to do anubis _ git. You would create that and you would create the init file and then you would just do the same thing. So you would have it on a separate port and so on and so forth. I mean, you kind of get the point, I hope, if you have used openrc. This is how I set up Anubis on Alpine. I hope this was helpful to you. And I think Anubis is a great service. I mean, there's a reason it exists, to stop crawlers and scrapers and stuff like that. I kind of disagree with their sense of aesthetic, but I have solved this already in previous videos with the restyling Anubis thing. And again, let me show you because I find it, I'm kind of proud that it works, that it actually just works. So if I go to that, you can see my restyled version with the colors and the images and all that. Again, you can get this from my Git under the releases builds page. Just download this tar-gzip and you can then do what I did in this video and protect your websites and services with Anubis and with nice aesthetics. And if you want some other aesthetics, just send me an email and I'll add your pictures and colors to my Git repository and automatically build it on, yeah, when there's a new release. I think there still hasn't been a new release, so I don't know if that's working, but it probably is. I hope so. We will see. If it doesn't, I will fix it, of course. So yeah, that's pretty much it. That's all I wanted to show you in this video. And yeah, have a nice day.